And say that I had a terrific job title the last time I had a full-time job. So I was global editorial director for Boston Consulting Group, which is it's a rival of McKinsey and Company in the strategic management consulting field. And so I had a group of writers and editors reporting to me from around the world. So I had this grand title. I left there about 12 years ago to pursue my own interests, and so I have my own company now, but I don't use anything other than my own name, so I don't really have a title. It's not knowing who is coming on next. I don't know who I'm getting. I don't know what topic they want to talk about. I don't know what kind of project they want to discuss. But we get people from all over the world, literally. So one of the more recent folks I talked with was sitting in Georgia, and not the state of, but the country of in Europe. And so it's, just not knowing what I'm going to be doing next is the most fun, I guess. Whatever it is, pretty much the same stuff comes up. I mean, one key question is, who is your audience? We have to figure out who you're writing for. And then, of course, we have to get to what is it you're trying to say? And then how can we say that better? That's a tough one to pick. I mean, they've each had some good points and some bad points, but I'd answer it this way, that I worked at the New York Post, the tabloid paper in New York, obviously, for a bunch of years. And then I worked at the New York Times for a bunch of years. They were very different places, but what they had in common was a newsroom and a place where everyone gathered. The thing that joined the two of them was having all these neat people around you, plus the deadline, imposing order and limits on what you were doing. The people were some of the smartest, some of the craziest, some of the most interesting I've ever met. But if I had to go back and say the specific job, I was a dishwasher in a college dining room. And I did that. I ran a 3-person crew at night for the dinner shift. And I met very interesting people looking through the place where people would put their dishes in, and you'd have a little conversation. I'd grab the dishes and then we'd start cleaning them. That was neat, but didn't pay very well.
Awesome.
Yeah, so this was a pretty long time ago. I left in '98, and I'd been in it a long time. And I had reached a point where I was going, I think, as far as I was going to go, which is not to say there weren't other places to go, but given my skills and my ambition or lack thereof, and a bunch of other things, I was sort of stuck. I was at the Times, New York Times. I had a fine job. At that point, if you had a job at the Times, it was lifetime, essentially. You'd have to do something very bad in order for them to kick you out. And yet I felt stuck. I had worked with another guy at the Times who had left, and he went out and started working with consulting firms and corporate people. And he was telling me about that life. I was starting to do some freelance for him. And then an opening came along, and I made the leap. I joined him, and it was a terrific way to leave journalism in a way. I got away from my desk. I was working at home. That was the first time I started traveling on someone else's money, which was great. And I started to see things, and doors opened for me to see how things worked in society and in business that I wouldn't have seen sitting in the New York Times. Thing to remember, though, is if you're a journalist, and you're a real journalist, and I'm going to say I was for a while, a functioning one, it doesn't go away. And so your mindset, how you look at stuff, doesn't change. So you bring skepticism, to everything. You bring sort of a balance. I mean, you're hoping to have a balance. You have internal things going off that tell you when you're not understanding something or somebody's telling you something that's not true and what have you. So I would bring that mindset into whatever I was doing, even though it wasn't journalism anymore. Yes, I left journalism, but journalism didn't leave me. So.